Hey there, YouTube. It's Casey here from TaxSaleAcademy.com. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to record an episode for the Tax Sale Podcast. If you enjoy podcasts, check us out. There's a link down below, which will take you to TaxSalePodcast.com, where you can download us on your favorite podcasting platform. Let's go ahead and switch on over and record that audio version right now. Welcome to the Tax Sale Podcast, where tax sale investing is made easy. My name is Casey Dimon. I'm a tax sale veteran. I'm the author of the Tax Sale Playbook, founder of the Tax Sale Academy. I'm the leading tax sale expert and trainer, and I am your host right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast. This podcast is provided completely free to help teach you about investing in tax-defaulted real estate, and is provided through the Tax Sale Academy. For more information on investing in tax-defaulted real estate, just head on over to TaxSaleAcademy.com, click on join, and become a member of the Tax Sale Academy. Today is December the 30th. This podcast episode will be going live at the very end of the year. We'll soon be embarking on another year. In fact, in just hours, we'll actually be embarking on a completely new decade. It's a time to sit back and really think about your future. It's a time of the year to really start making plans. Now, whether you listen to this podcast on the day it comes out at the end of the year, or sometimes in the future, perhaps even the middle of the following year, it's important to understand that you can make plans for your future at any time. We often use the end of the calendar year as an excuse to start new goals, but you can and you should frequently plan for your future. When it comes to tax sale investing, there are a variety of plans that you can and should make. I'm a firm believer that you must be fully aware of your business, how you're currently operating it, and how you'll proceed in the future. The problem that many investors and many business owners get stuck with is the mundane, day-to-day task that keeps them chugging along at the same exact pace. This approach never really allows you to start picking up speed, which we can also refer to as increasing your revenue or increasing your profits. So you must consciously look at your business and ask yourself where and how you can improve. Let's look at a brief version of the process that I use to plan for my tax sale business. This process is very simple, and it can be applied to virtually all aspects of life, although we're going to be approaching it from the tax sale investor's standpoint, of course. The first step is to ask yourself, honestly, where am I? A plan for the future can't be properly established without first determining where you're currently at. If I want to get it on the PGA Tour as a professional golfer, but I've never golfed before, then suddenly I have a much clearer picture about the future. I need to learn how to golf, right? It's time to have an honest conversation with yourself. Look back over the last week, over the last month, over the last year. Look at your screw-ups. See what happened. How did you mess up so badly? And I'm not just talking about losing money, but maybe the margin wasn't quite as good as you thought it would be, or whatever it might be. What are the weaknesses that always seem to linger? What always seems to get in your way? What are the common issues? Positive thinking is fantastic, but it's time to call a spade a spade. With this step, there is no purpose whatsoever to express artificial confidence. This is not a time to fake it until you make it. If you made a lousy investment this year, it's time to face it head on. Admit it to yourself. It's time for reflection. If you're just starting out, be honest with yourself. Do you really understand everything that's going on in this business? Are you confident enough in what you know, in your knowledge of this business, that in the event of life and death, you would make the correct decision? Would you invest every single dime that your grandmother has left into a piece of tax sale property? Sure, those are pretty extreme questions. I completely get it. But what I want to illustrate for you is that now is the time to be brutally honest with yourself. Every year I ask myself these same questions. How did I screw up? How could I have been better? And the answers don't always make me jump for joy. It's not fun reflecting and being hard on yourself. Now, on that same note, what did you do correctly? What did you do right? What were the major successes you had this year? Maybe it was a financial success on a property. Maybe you stepped outside of your comfort zone and you bid on a property for the first time, or you attended your first auction. Maybe you completed the Tax Sale Academy. Maybe your sole success in this business is that you just discovered it, right? Give yourself real honest credit now and take note of what you did correctly. When you have the good and the bad from the last 12 months established, you should have a much better idea of where you truly are. Maybe you started, but it's quickly become apparent that you just need more knowledge, more training, more effort, more time, more capital, whatever it is. Maybe you just nailed it last year and you made more money than you ever thought possible. Whatever the situation, paint yourself a very clear, very vivid picture of where you truly are right now in this moment in time. So that's step one, determine exactly where you're at. Step number two, where do you want to go? Specifically, where do you want to go in the short term? And when I say short term, I'm talking 6 months, maybe even 12 months. Many people are so short-sighted. They want business success in days or in weeks, but be real here. Be honest with yourself. The success that you desire is likely going to take years. So as you trend towards that success, what does the ideal next 6 months or even a year look like? Take a realistic but optimistic picture of that 6-month and that 12-month period. If you're just starting out, your focus should be on obtaining the necessary knowledge and preparing yourself correctly. So in this regard, your goal should be to learn everything that you can about tax sale investing, training yourself, research, go to auctions, find a mentor, and then get ready to pull the trigger when the right opportunity hits. If you've already started investing, but you have not seen the success that you desire, your goal will perhaps be to get more of the good investments you've already made, or at least locate some good investments between now and 6 months. And if you're doing well, say you're coming off your best year ever, your goal needs to be to figure out how to scale that business, how to ramp it up, how to grow it exponentially now. So step one, determine where you are. Step two, determine where you want to go in the relative short term. And now step three, determine how you will get there. So we have the starting points and we have the ending points established. Step three is to determine how we can connect those dots. How will you go from where you are to where you want to be? And this is a part of the process where you must detail every single step as much as possible. It's important to determine these precise steps to get you there. Now we're going to discuss this more momentarily, but it's time to give yourself a plan that you can easily follow. And notice, I said easily follow. Well, it won't likely be easy to actually execute. It's going to take effort for sure. It should be easy to follow. As humans, we are creatures of habit. And when we think we should be doing something that just doesn't fit within our typical habits, we will come to resist it over time. So develop the new habit of giving yourself a plan to follow every single day. The best way to develop this plan is to make a bullet point list of say 8 to 10 things that you should do to get from where you are to where you want to go. Then break those down into another 5 or 6 subcategories that you can implement over time. When you have this, make sure they're in proper chronological order, of course. But when you have this, you now have a detailed path to take to get from where you are to where you want to go. Ideally, you'll break it down into 26 different steps for a 6-month plan. And then another 26 for the second 6 months of your plan. One step for each week, of course. It's just a matter of executing that one step. If you want to take it a step further, go right ahead. You can break it down to the number of days in the week or the number of hours. I don't care what you do. Just make sure it's broken down where it's easy to follow. This act will allow you to plan out your schedule to get you going in the right direction, to build up that momentum. Sure, things will come up and you have to modify it here and there on the fly, and that's okay. But the important part is that you have a plan that is easy to follow. For example, if you're just starting out, maybe you set aside 1 hour every single day to learn for the first month. And you go through something like my YouTube channel or the Tax Sale Academy or a local mentor, whatever it might be. Then the next month, you start exploring the different areas and you start locating tax sale lists. Then you start researching those lists and reviewing the previous auction results. Then you go to some auctions. And then you get ready to take advantage of the next opportunity. Then you buy the property when the time is right. We have an executable plan that kind of builds up over time. We start small, we start with the basics, and we keep building and building and building. So now that we have this plan, we must get it down on a schedule. We must actually write it out on a schedule. We want it as easy to follow as possible. The best way to do that is say, day number 1, this is what we do. Take those bullet points, take those subcategories and put that on a schedule. And I do it the old school way. I'll actually Google Calendar. I'll print 12 months out and I'll actually handwrite in every single week from that bullet point list. I want it so obvious what I'm supposed to do that I can't screw it up, right? Or I can't get busy and overlook it. I want zero friction when it comes to knowing what I should be doing. We use the same principle in our 30-day challenge inside the Tax Law Academy. Once you sign up for that challenge, we tell you every single day for 30 days straight what exactly you should be doing. And the results that our students are seeing are crazy because they have an exact program, an exact plan to follow. Yes, this will take time, but remember, the goal is that you simply look at your calendar today and you figure out exactly what you should be doing. That plan is going to make it very, very easy to get you from where you are to where you want to go. So there you have it. That's how you develop your tax sale plan. Start with where you are right now, a true, real, honest assessment. Then figure out where you want to go, a realistic but optimistic goal for 6 or 12 months. From there, creating a written, easy to follow plan that allows you to connect the dots and allows you to have something that you can look at your calendar and do every single day. I really hope that this has helped you out to make your plan for tax sale success. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. Inside the Tax Law Academy, we go over lots and lots of incredible training tips just like this one. And if you'd like more information on investing in tax-sheltered real estate and you'd like to join the Academy, just go to taxlawacademy.com and click on join to become a member. That's it for today, folks. If you enjoyed this podcast, please take a few moments out of your day just to leave us some positive feedback on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on. We have noticed each and every single positive rating that we've received, and we are so thankful for those who have taken the time to do so already. Take care. Bye-bye.